I'm Michelle with two L's.
And I'm Natalie the Red.
And we are Forcify Entertainment. And today we are here to give you our review of the new rom-com, Anyone But You, starring Glenn Powell and Sydney Sweeney. For those of you who are new to our reviews, the way we do our reviews, we will give you our initial thought, what we like, what we didn't like, and rate the movie. Before we get started, though, if you enjoy movie reactions, if you enjoy movie reviews, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Also, give this video a thumbs up. But Anyone But You is kind of a modern retelling. At least, I guess it takes its beats from William Shakespeare's Much Ado About Nothing. Much Ado About Nothing. So, what are our thoughts on this? I will give you my initial thoughts. And my initial thoughts is this movie sucks. That was my initial thoughts.
Shell did not mince words.
I wanted to leave within probably
the first, for me, about like 5 to 7 minutes. I knew that it was. I knew before. Okay.
So what were your initial thoughts? Initial thoughts. Yeah,
it blows.
It sucks.
Might be one of the most poorly executed. Worst rom-coms I've ever seen in my life. Now, granted, I haven't seen the Hallmark movies, so I don't know how cheesy some
I imagine they're better. I
have a feeling they're better.
Well, and here's the thing, guys. We understand rom-coms. Rom-coms, they're going to be cheesy to a degree. They're going to be somewhat predictable, or always predictable. That is.
But this one just didn't make sense.
Well, that is part of being a rom-com. But this movie, the way it executed everything was horrible. Even of course, this is the type situation where these two meet. There's supposed to be something that makes them at odds with each other, which what made them at odds with each other was so lame and so unworthy of their hatred for one another.
It just didn't make sense.
You couldn't
because it was
you
so
couldn't buy it.
stupid.
You could not buy this. But before I get into what we like and dislike, I will say that my thoughts, they come on the cuff of literally the night before, Christmas Eve.
This is a ranch.
I rewatched a very beloved rated R rom-com, being Bridget Jones' Diary, which of course then was a modern retelling of Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice. That is an example of a very well executed rated R romantic comedy that hits, that makes you laugh, that you can relate to as a woman.
Yes.
And gives you something you want. Like, ooh, I would like to aspire to that someday. One day I'll get my Mr. Darcy type thing. And then also, it does hit on the romance type thing.
Absolutely.
And
it's very romantic.
You had three incredible actors in that movie. This is as far opposite as a well-executed rom-com that you can possibly get.
And just from every, bless its heart, from every angle, it's bad.
It's bad.
The writing, the delivery of the lines.
The writing, guys, the writing is so bad that the writing is so bad that I thought, did AI write this? But then I feel that was an insult to a machine.
Yeah.
Who probably could write something, though generic, better than this.
Right.
Because I can't even really say anything against the actors, because the lines, the script is so bad. And so I to use a Gen
what could you do with that?
To use a Gen Z word, this movie is cringe. It is the definition of cringe.
And it's a word the movie uses itself quite a few times, and with good reason.
It does. And the characters are all annoying. None of them are funny. Guys, I chuckled one time in this movie.
And other than that, I had a few good chuckles, but it's because the movie was so bad that it made me laugh, because I was uncomfortable. It was bad. So poorly written.
It was bad. So
it was really something to behold, though.
So what can I say is good about this? Glenn Powell's hot.
Yeah, he's really
hot,
guy.
And he's got charisma, and I think he has a good future in front of him. As far as
we won't hold this against him.
We won't. And with Sydney Sweeney, I would say this. I'm sure
maybe in other things.
I'm sure the men who go to see this will think she's hot. But when you're making a rom-com, the number one demographic is women.
Right.
So a very important thing is for that person to be
Have
likable.
some likability.
And for women to be like, man, I'd like her to be my friend. Like I we can have fun together.
I can identify with her on some level, just something that you can connect to.
I found her character utterly annoying, not particularly likable, and I definitely don't want to hang out with her. And
she was off-putting.
She was off-putting. And with a rom-com, you pick people. Look at the people who've starred in rom-coms: Sandra Bullock, Julia Roberts, Meg Ryan, Sarah Jessica Parker. The list can go on and on. Reese Witherspoon. They have a likability for women.
Right.
And that's very important. And I just didn't really see this, at least in this role, for Sydney Sweeney.
Yes.
It was just, she was
better luck next time.
Yes. And I'm not, that doesn't necessarily mean anything about her. We'll have to see her in something else. Again, I'm not judging anyone off this movie.
Right.
I'm not. But she wasn't likable enough, in my opinion, for which is going to be a majority female audience. That's just at the end of the day. And this movie, so my only like is that Glen Powell's hot. That's it. That's it.
Sometimes that's all you can give something.
And so moving into negativity, what we didn't like, it's pretty obvious. The script, even the cinematography was really bad. Like the direction of the movie, I thought was particularly not very good.
The script, the performances,
just again, not a single.
The plot, where was it?
Yeah, not a single.
It didn't make sense. It was ridiculous.
Not a single likable character. There were 2 different lines that took me out of the movie that were just appealing to the SJW crowd that were utterly annoying. And I literally physically eye rolled as it was said.
Like, I feel like on the second one, he almost took a physical bow, or like he bowed.
You could tell.
This is a sacrifice.
You could tell the writers were like, we really got it with those 2 lines, guys. We really said something to society with those 2 lines. And
I hope I please.
Yes. And this whole movie, and maybe that's the group this movie's going to appeal to, because it's kind of about modern dating and how it can suck. But even that was just executed badly. Like, you could actually make something appealing in that.
Easily have something there just within that context.
Yes, it's just
something. But just the fact that this was a romantic comedy and it failed both on the romance department and the comedy department.
It was horrible. The only movie that
was awarded no points, and may God have mercy on all souls.
The only movie that may be harsh. The only movie that may be worse than this year was the Apple movie, Ghosted, which I did turn off halfway through because it was awful.
You ghosted it.
It was horrible. It was horrible. And I'm like, which one is worse? This or that?
I didn't see that one, so I'm not sure. But this was laughably bad, in my opinion. But we like to be, positive here on Force of Light. But every now and then, just for anybody that happens to stumble upon this and you were looking, you had similar feelings, maybe this will be, good for you to know that you're not alone.
Yeah, it just, all I can say
we experienced it together.
All I can say is that this movie was horrible. I cannot recommend this movie. I recommend avoiding this movie for your money and your time's sake.
Your mind.
Don't go see it. And here's the sad thing. I think there is an audience that really would like some new, refreshing, good rom-coms. There's clearly a market for rom-coms. That's why they were huge in the past and they kind of went away. And, I think people are hungry for a good rom-com, but this ain't it.
This is not it.
That's all I can say about that. So, hopefully, I really think a film student in their first year at USC could probably write a better, more creative script than this. And the fact that they wanted to compare themselves by literally having William Shakespeare quotes in this movie, that is offensive to William Shakespeare, who is considered one of the greatest writers of all time.
He is quaking in his grave right
He's
now.
like, please don't compare me to this movie ever again.
I did not co-sign.
He definitely did not co-sign on that. But yeah, that's our thoughts. So what do we rate this movie? I give it 0 hoots. Actually, for Glen Powell's hotness, I give it half a hoot. That is the best I can give it. Out of 5 hoots, it gets half a hoot for Glen Powell.
Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, but not even a nice face can keep it from its fate, which is 0.
Yes. I mean, this was a case I really would have just enjoyed getting my money back, and I rarely feel that way. But yeah, that is our thoughts on Anyone But You. What are you guys' thoughts on this movie?
Do better.
Yeah, please do better. What are you guys' thoughts on this movie? Have you seen it? Have you thought about seeing it? Did you love it? Some people like it. That's fine. We don't care.
I mean, come at us in the comments if you want. If you love this, tell us why you loved it.
But yeah, share your thoughts below. And if you have not yet, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Also give this video a thumbs up. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, remember to be a force of light. All right. Bye, guys.